Somebody sees you as wish fulfillment with this appreciation card. This has been somebody who has been keeping tabs on you for a while. They've been in your life for a while. You've been getting to know one another. Might have started off as a friendship, or this is like your lovers, and there's also a foundation of friendship between the two of you. You get along really well. The vibe is just very easy between the two of you, very easy going, a very comfortable connection, something where being in one another's presence feels very natural, almost like you're living in a dream. And this is somebody, it feels like that they don't want to waste any more time in letting you know just how much they appreciate your presence in their life, in their world, in this chapter of their own personal narrative. They see you as somebody who is a very rare individual. You bring something very unique into their life. You have helped to kind of ease a burden inside of this person where they might have been sort of fearful of commitment, fearful of relationships, and you've been cool with like taking things slowly, or you've set the tone and the pace for things to evolve very slowly between the two of you, which has worked really well for this person. Even if you didn't know that, it's kind of like, okay, that's what I was hoping for, is that we could kind of like take our time. We wouldn't have to rush to any sort of decisions, but like if it's right, it's right, and there's no need to force things. And so far what they've experienced with you is that this connection works best when the two of you are in that place of surrender, honoring the times where you've got this like urge to really pour into one another, to have a lot of conversations, a lot of interactions, and times where you both kind of instinctually honor the need within one another to kind of pull back, regroup, refocus on other things. It's a very like easygoing sort of energy, maybe a very easygoing person in general. And so there's a sense that they really appreciate that you're able to, kind of intuit what it is that they are sort of needing energetically, or actually, you're able to kind of express your needs to them as well, maybe through just little like cues or signs, or almost like safe words that you use that are kind of like the trigger for this person, or the clue or the indicator, like, okay, it's time for us to kind of just like go in our separate corners. Not that there's some kind of fight or disagreement, but almost like being with one another, you might get sort of like overstimulated by the connection, the intensity, or the nature of your interactions with one another. And it's like, okay, we need time to just kind of sit in our own vibe, kind of like regroup, attend to ourselves, and then we'll get back with one another. We'll pick up the conversations. We'll resume a lot of that like constant contact, or frequency of interactions with one another, and it feels right. It feels like the kind of thing where nobody's needing to sort of apologize if there's a couple days in between like responding to one another, because there's also times where it's like you're quick to respond, you're quick to communicate, and so this isn't like a hot and cold energy. This is just that a very like natural dynamic that honors the ebbs and flows within the two of you emotionally, and with whatever you got going on in your lives. This person feels like we work really well together in that sense. I feel very free within this connection with you, and that is only increasing my desire to let you know just how much I appreciate you, and how much I am interested in building towards something more with one another. Yeah, we have acquisition. So you have captured this person's heart. Even if they've not told you that they love you yet, this is somebody that is like, yeah, it would not be difficult to say that. It would not be anything that I would need to think about for very long. It almost feels inevitable that if those words haven't been spoken out loud yet, that they will soon be spoken out loud. This person thinks that you're a catch. Like they feel very lucky that they can call you theirs, or that you're building up to that place within your dynamic with one another, where you're an item, you're a couple, you're mutual, you're exclusive with each other. This is somebody that feels like, I'm so happy for things that didn't work out in my past, because it has created this kind of perfect storm for the opportunity for you and I to encounter one another, and for me to experience what an easy romance should be like, and is in reality. This may be somebody that is used to having to kind of like put in a lot of effort. They might have dealt with a lot of low effort people in the past, people that had a lot of woundedness. And so they were trying to kind of just like overcompensate for that, or, things where their own kind of like emotional needs or actual needs were neglected or came secondary, to kind of just like keeping the peace for the partner, kind of doing whatever that other person would want to do. This is somebody who it feels like they typically lose themselves in connections. And then when those connections end, it's like they got to regroup, they got to find themselves again, or invent a new version of themselves beyond what they've kind of like given away or they've lost. This is the kind of person that it feels like in the past, they would often sort of like neglect friendships for the interest of romance. They might have also dealt with people that, could have been like narcissists, tried to sort of isolate them from friends and family, might have been very like possessive over them, very jealous, very controlling. And so that took a toll on this person's personal life. And on more than one occasion, then it was like, okay, a connection ended and they found themselves alone, kind of like needing to try to rebuild connections with other people in their lives, or, other parts of their life having fallen apart after kind of giving themselves over or prioritizing romantic connections as strongly as maybe their own woundedness encouraged them to, or the types of people that they were inviting into their life, or that they had gravitated toward or were attracted toward, that was the experience that was created or co-created rather between those two individuals. You could have dealt with a lot of like toxic people in the past. And so you're bringing something to the table, that's a very different experience. And it feels like this person is taking time to almost like savor this experience with you. Sort of like, I don't have to walk on eggshells. I don't feel that I need to choose between sort of like friends and spending time with you romantically. You're not giving me signals or indicators that you feel threatened by, individual interests or hobbies that I have, priorities and needs, other commitments that I have in my life. Like, you're cool about that. You have enough going on within yourself. You're stable within yourself. You've got your own identity enough that it's like when we connect with one another, it's two sovereign beings having an encounter, sharing an encounter. I don't feel like you're trying to piggyback off of me. I don't feel that I have to like devote so much of my energy to like propping you up or minimizing kind of the things that are important to me or neglecting the things that are important to me in order to feed your ego or your insecurities. And so this person is almost like that has won them over more than, like the physical attributes of you and like the, kind of intellectual aspects of you, whatever you've demonstrated emotionally. It's kind of like the fact that you honor this person's individuality. You give them space when they need it. That is helping this person to, again, feel like the idea of falling in love with you or saying I love you and kind of taking things to the next level. This is something that feels like it would be a very positive step forward. That, there's no kind of like guarantee that this is a long-term or a forever connection, but there's definitely a sense of like the experience with you is different than toxic things that took more than they gave in the past. That this is something where this person is like, yeah, this is feeling right. I'm feeling that I'm still able to keep my life intact, or my life is enhanced in other ways through the experience with you, through time that I get to spend with you. Like, you encourage me to continue to sort of feed into the things that I've already established, or the things that are important to me. And you're doing that for yourself as well. So we're really meeting in the middle. And it's something that it feels like, again, like really encourages them to trust in this, to take steps forward towards you, to bring you closer into their reality. Because there's a sense of like, this might be the first healthy partnership they've ever experienced, or the first time in a very long time that they felt like who they are as a person is appreciated just as much as kind of like how they're showing up or what they're doing for the other person within that equation of the romance. We also have assertion. So it feels like this person is at this point sort of like fighting fears inside of themselves about like, is this too good to be true? Is this really something that's has the makings of like the first healthy partnership I've had in my adult life, or, you know, in a very long time? Is this the kind of thing that will offset a lot of the kind of baggage that I still carry, the wounds that I still carry from the times where I gave my power away to people that didn't have my best interests at heart, or the times when, you know, I fed into keeping connections going that were only like bringing chaos to my doorstep? The experience with you, it's like night and day compared to what they knew before or what they've experienced with other people. And so there is a sense with this person of, I need to make sure that I can continue to be present here. I need to make sure that, you know, I don't do something and kind of like fumble this situation, that I don't start to like test your loyalties, that I don't start to kind of like question too much out loud. Like, is this too good to be true? Is this real? That I don't start looking for red flags and as a consequence become one myself, because I'm so used to tasting disappointment in love with other people. So this is somebody that's kind of like, they're taking the bull by the horns at this particular moment in time, and they're like, I know that this is already very different than anything that I've known. I know that I'm very excited for what happens next between the two of us, but I can feel that part of me, that sort of like inner critic that is like, are you sure? This feels weird, this feels different. But it's like good different, it's like healthy different, which it feels like is helping to illustrate for this person just how much kind of like lower vibrational experiences, or, you know, just things that didn't really like connections that didn't build both people up. It was very lopsided in the past. It was like all about one person and very little about the other. And it feels like this individual is used to being someone that is just hoisting someone else up, kind of using all their strength to lift their partner up, or, you know, to kind of like dim their light in order to not sort of set another person off, romantically speaking, like trigger them, trigger insecurities. And the fact that that is not manifesting itself in the here and now, that you're not bringing that side of them out, they're not having those experiences with you in times where they kind of are like, you know, pulling back and even sort of like, you know, fighting their demons, fighting their fears, fighting those insecurities inside of themselves, or that feeling of like, is this too good to be true? It's almost like you pick up on that. They don't need to kind of feel that like, okay, you're clinging, or, you know, you're not giving me my space, you're not giving me my room to breathe, and so, you know, I'm having to like push you away. This is something where it's almost like, yeah, no, you're getting it. You're registering that it's like at this stage of our connection, I'm dealing with a little bit of kind of like, I need to keep bringing myself into the present moment, and like, yeah, this is different. This is different in a healthy way. This is different in a productive way. This is different in a positive way. And the only thing that's going to mess it up is me doubting that at this particular point in time. So this is somebody that's working behind the scenes to make sure they don't themselves become that walking flag, that they don't become the one that is like giving into those insecurities, or, you know, is kind of like mistrusting in sort of the nature of what you've experienced with one another so far to be something that's only like temporary. Like there's a part of them that it's like, if we take things a step further, is the illusion gonna fade away, and then like some other reality manifests itself, another side of you comes out? Like that's a question within them. But there's a sense that so far you've proven that that's like not the case. Like this person feels that they know you very well, they feel very comfortable with you, they like the energy of give and take between the two of you. Even in the times where they're having to give more, or you're having to give more, it's like we always have each other's back. We always come back to this place of balance, which is so different than the lopsidedness or the straight out toxicity that they'd experienced in other connections with other people. So this is somebody that it's like worth it to sort of exert their dominance over that part of themselves that's like fearful, kind of like, ooh, is this too good to be true? They're trying to like quiet that part down within themselves so that they don't like accidentally kind of fumble this opportunity, or miss the moment to build something more with you. Yeah, we have impulsiveness. So it feels like this person is very ready to make some kind of proclamation to you, to say I love you, to, take things to the next level. And this is somebody that like once those words are spoken, once you guys cross that threshold, once those promises are made or those conversations start to happen, this is somebody that wants to be ready to like continue that in a long-term sense. This is not something where it's like, I want to say those words, I love you, and then I freak out and I ghost you, and then I pull away and then I run away. They want to make sure that that does not happen. And so it's almost like they're having a little meeting with themselves at this particular point in time, kind of like, okay, this is it. We're right at that brink. It's time to step things up to the next level. It feels right. Everything about this feels good. Everything is presenting as green lights, as different than what I know from myself and my past patterns and my past relationships and the things that kept repeating in different circumstances with different people, with me as the common denominator. I know for a fact that I have done something right to move in an opposite direction from those experiences, because what I have in the here and now with you is so different on so many levels. And so this is somebody that is like gearing up to reach out to you, to open up to you, to shed light on something, as far as like, I appreciate you. I appreciate the energy you bring into my life. I appreciate who you are as a person. I appreciate the experience that we have with one another. And I want to make sure that you know that I'm in this to win. I'm in this to, have like a deeper long-term experience with you. That I'm here and I want to keep taking steps forward with you. I want you to feel supported and seen, because I feel very supported and seen by you. I want us to continue to, feed into the things that are important to us and that matter in both our lives individually, and then to share that energy with one another, those experiences with one another, or invite one another in different ways into these experiences as well, or to continue to kind of build in that sort of like co-creative energy, the space of the relationship that is developing between the two of us. I want to continue to nurture that as well, not for a temporary experience, not just to like try it out and see if it works, see if it feels right, but this is somebody that like when they open up and express something, they want that to become kind of like the new understanding between the two of you, that like there's no going back from that, there's only going forward. Yeah, and we have power. So this person, with this like sun and moon right here, they feel like you are the yin to their yang. Like you balance them out. You're everything that they have been looking for. You are somebody who accentuates their strengths as a person and romantically speaking, and you, in a very gentle way, kind of like highlight sort of like deficits or aspects within that they can strengthen, they can develop, or that they're invited to showcase in a way that maybe no other partner has invited them to showcase. That could even indicate like their own vulnerabilities, their own fears, in terms of like, you don't freak out when this person sort of pulls back into themselves, like at this point in time where they're trying to sort of like convince themselves like, this isn't too good to be true, this is really happening, this is really right, this is really real, this is really for me, we're really doing this. Like, you're somebody that just kind of goes with the flow of that, not as a doormat, not as somebody that's afraid to rock the boat and is just being a people pleaser. So like, yeah, I'll just sort of stand in place until you're ready to connect again. But it's something where it's like you have this unspoken understanding with one another, a deeply empathic bond, where it's kind of like this person, I'm hearing, I just need to tend to something real quick. So that might be something that they tell you, like an excuse, where they're not kind of telling you the full story, but it's something that like, okay, I know you're not out two-timing me. I know, I can tell you're not out talking to other people or, exploring your options, but that may be something along those lines, like how they phrase it, like, I'll be right back. I gotta tend to something real quick. I'm going to be away for a couple of days. And it's kind of like, that it's just some sort of an excuse, but there's almost like there's a sense between the two of you of like, that's their kind of code word. That's their little safe word for sort of like, okay, I'm feeling a bit fearful inside. So let me kind of just step behind the curtain, have a discussion with myself, conquer that kind of like fear for a minute, and then come back towards you and bask in kind of the very pleasant and very lovely and very like easygoing energy of what it is to have a relationship with you, to have a romantic connection with you, to have this experience in the here and now, which is really encouraging them to want to invest in something long term. Because unlike previous connections, it's not like you're not asking this person to sacrifice anything. It's like, continue to do you, and I'll continue to do me, and we'll meet in the middle and work to build this concept of us into something real that works for the two of us. And that is something which is very different from anything they've ever had in love and partnerships before. And so the reality of that, the notion of that, the experience of that, this is something that really empowers this person. This is something that is motivating this person to want to keep showing up, to move closer to you, to honor the seasons of their kind of internal makeup. That is like, there are times where I need to pull back or introspect. There are times where I need to regroup and focus on other things. There are times where there are other aspects of things I have going on in my life that need my attention. And then there's also times when I just have this insatiable desire for you. There's times where I need to show up for you. There's times where I want to show up for you. There's times where it's time to find ways to make space for all these other things and what we have going on. And so that kind of busyness, almost between the two of you, each in your own orbit, but conjuncting with one another in a very beautiful way, this is something that this person is like, yeah, this is that empowered connection that I've wanted. This is the makings of that healthy partnership, not in terms of fantasy land, but, like the fantasy come to life. Something that is workable, something that works for me, it works for you, it works for the two of us in the here and now. And it doesn't matter what other people think of that, because it works for us. It doesn't matter if this is something that is different from what I've experienced in the past or what you've experienced in the past, because clearly those other circumstances weren't right, because those people aren't here with us in the here and now. We're here with each other. It's you and I. And so this is something where this person is like, yeah, I want to keep working on this. I want to keep investing in this. I want to keep empowering this connection because I feel so empowered by it and by you. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.